In this video, I will be discussing the pros and cons of getting into domestic security. The first pro would be it is relatively easy work to get into. You don't need a whole lot of experience starting off. All you're going to need is your security guard cert or license. Number two would be there's always work. You're never not going to have a job opening for a security position. Number three would be the hours. They're extremely flexible, and a lot of smaller companies are going to be willing to work with you. So if you're in school or you even have another job, like I said, the smaller companies are always, in my experience, they've always been pretty helpful with fluctuating my hours. Number four would be that it is a good stepping stone to get into law enforcement. You're going to be in that kind of similar field, not necessarily like a cop, but you are going to be enforcing rules and you are going to be dealing with irate people as a cop would, just maybe not to the fullest extent of a police officer. Number five would be a wide variety of the different types of security you could do, and that can range anywhere from a mall to a nightclub to a hospital to even a military installation. I've never done a mall. I've worked nightclubs, hospitals, all the way to millionaires, private weddings. So there is a plethora of different types of security you could get into just outside of a guy walking around the mall with a flashlight and a ring of keys. And now starting for the cons, the first one is most companies have little training. They're probably going to make you do a PowerPoint, and there's probably going to be a test after that PowerPoint. And most companies that I've even worked for give you the answers for the tests, because when you deal with security companies on a bigger scale like that, they're not looking for the quality of officers. They want quantity. And it's a numbers game when you start dealing with big companies like that. And now number two for the cons would be buying your own equipment. I've never worked for a company that's ever issued me anything outside of a shirt and pants. I think with my duty belt, I'm in about $1,200 to $1,400, and I just so happen to own my pistol prior to using it for security. And you're going to have to foot the bill for the most part. Number three would be that some companies do not have a physical standard or a legitimate vetting process. A lot of companies, small or big, are just looking for bodies. So the only thing that they're really going to be looking at is, hey, are your cards up to date? And can you show up and clock in when we need you to? Number four is going to be stigma from local law enforcement. Granted, it may not be you that they have the issue with, but it could be the rapport that your company has with them prior to you being there. I've met a lot of security guards that try to intervene if we do have to get law enforcement involved when that's not necessarily our job. And a lot of cops do have egos, and they think that we want to be them when in reality we have two different mission sets on what it is that we are doing. So number five would be the tactical Timmies and the coworkers that you are going to come across who just don't care and that are a liability to themselves. There's a lot of both of these in the security industry. I'm sure many of you have seen them whenever you go anywhere. You got guys that, have no physical standard about them. They're wearing a Cry Precision JPC with AR mags, and they're not holding an AR. There's very low amounts of professionalism across the board. And, you will be grouped in with those people. But that doesn't mean that you can't go there and learn some stuff, get some experience under your belt, and then jump ship and go to the next company, because security companies are always hiring, and the more and more experience that you get out there and you can beef up that resume, that's a higher paying gig that you can go to. And with those higher paying gigs, you will run into more like-minded people who have the discipline to keep themselves in shape, have the discipline to go out and go train, learn how to put on a tourniquet, carry medical equipment. It's just getting it all started, and that's what you're going to get at entry level. That's what the caliber of people you will be dealing with.